You're clearing your throat again right now, aren't you? You've tried the honey, the hot water, every remedy your neighbors, relatives, and the first page of Google could offer, and nothing has worked. Here is the truth nobody in a waiting room will tell you. Every remedy you have tried has been aimed at the symptom. The actual cause, the thing silently doing damage every single night, has not been touched. I'm Dr. James Cole. In the next 18 minutes, I will show you the 5 real reasons adults over 55 cannot shake persistent throat mucus and give you an exact, zero-cost action plan you can start tonight. Stay with me. This one matters. One piece of biology before we start. Without this, nothing else lands. Your body produces mucus every single day, and that is completely healthy. Mucus is your airways' protective coating. It traps bacteria and viruses before they reach your lungs. Mucus is not your enemy. But deep inside your airways, millions of microscopic hair-like structures called cilia sweep mucus constantly upward and outward. In a healthy 35-year-old, that system clears mucus in seconds. Research confirms that as we age, those cilia slow down. Mucus that would have been gone at 40 can pool for hours at 65. Any factor pushing your body toward excess mucus will hit you harder, last longer, and be far more stubborn than it would have been 20 years ago. You are not imagining it. 5 causes push that system past its limit. Let's get into them, because number 1 is the most frequently missed diagnosis in this entire conversation. Not slightly missed, systematically, consistently missed by general practitioners, urgent care doctors, and specialists alike. It is called laryngopharyngeal reflux, LPR, silent reflux. Before I explain it, I want to tell you about Carol. Carol was a 67-year-old retired school teacher from Michigan. For 4 years, she cleared her throat dozens of times a day. She stopped attending book club dinners because the clearing embarrassed her. She saw 3 separate physicians. She was told she had allergies. She was told to drink more fluids. None of it worked. Not because those doctors were careless, but because not one of them identified what was actually happening. Carol did not have allergies. She had silent reflux. Once that was properly addressed, the clearing stopped within 3 weeks. This is not a rare case. This is a Tuesday morning in my practice. Most people know classic heartburn, acid touching the esophagus, giving you a clear signal. Silent reflux gives you almost no signal at all. At the junction of your esophagus and stomach, there is a muscular valve whose only job is to stay shut after you eat. As we age, it loses its grip like a rubber band stretched one too many times. When it fails, acid travels all the way up into the throat and voice box, and your throat has almost no protection against it. The moment acid lands there, your body floods the tissue with thick mucus. Logical biology. But this is happening every night while you sleep. Lying flat, no gravity fighting it, no pain warning you, just acid landing on your throat for hours. You wake every morning to that familiar heaviness with no idea why. No heartburn, nothing pointing to your stomach. A study in clinical ENT literature found up to 50% of silent reflux patients report zero heartburn. Just chronic throat clearing, a rough morning voice, and mucus that builds the moment their eyes open. 3 fingerprints. Check yourself honestly. 1. Is your throat significantly worse in the morning than later in the day? 2. Does it worsen when you bend forward, tying your shoes, doing yard work? 3. Has your voice sounded rougher when you first wake up before you have really spoken? 2 out of 3. And this cause belongs on your list. One more note. If you take ibuprofen or naproxen regularly for joint pain, research shows these reduce your stomach's protective lining and make silent reflux significantly more aggressive. If that is your daily habit, bring that connection specifically to your doctor. Drop a comment right now. Is your throat worst in the morning or all day? Type morning or all day. That single answer tells me which cause is most likely driving your problem. I read every comment. Because number 2 almost never appears in videos on this topic. When I raise it with patients for the first time, I get genuine surprise, because the source of their throat problem is not in the throat, the sinuses, or the stomach. It is in the gut. Your digestive system and your respiratory system share regulatory pathways through your immune and nervous systems. The health of your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your intestines, directly influences how inflamed and mucus-prone your upper airways are. When that bacterial balance is disrupted, a state called dysbiosis, immune responses travel upward and trigger mucus overproduction in your airways. Your throat is not sick. Your throat is responding to a fire your gut started. Studies in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine and the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology have confirmed this directly. But the study I want you to picture is this one. Researchers transplanted gut microbiomes from chronic lung disease patients into perfectly healthy mice. Those mice, no airway history, no lung problems whatsoever, developed measurably increased airway mucus production, not because of anything wrong with their throats, because of what their gut was sending upward. That is not a hypothesis. That is a controlled causal result. What disrupts the gut microbiome in older adults? Low fiber intake, repeated antibiotic courses over the years, high daily sugar, chronic stress. None of those are rare or exotic. They describe the daily reality of a very large number of adults in this age group. No throat lozenge reaches your gut, but consistent daily choices can start to change it. I will give you the starting point in the action plan. Type the number 2 in the comments if this is giving you clarity, and subscribe if you haven't yet. It keeps this channel going. Because number 3, this one produces genuine jaw-drop moments in my practice. Not because the science is complicated, because the answer has been sitting on the bathroom counter every single morning and nobody connected it. Let me tell you about Jim. Jim was a 71-year-old retired engineer from Ohio. He started a new blood pressure medication in February. By May, the throat clearing had become constant, morning through evening, every day. He went back to his doctor. They checked sinuses. They looked at allergies. They adjusted his diet. By October, 9 months into the problem, Jim brought a handwritten timeline to a pharmacist while picking up a refill. The pharmacist looked at it for 45 seconds and said, "It's the lisinopril." Jim had been on a class of blood pressure medication known to cause exactly this side effect, and not one prescribing physician had mentioned it as a possibility. I hear a version of Jim's story every month. There is a class of blood pressure medications called ACE inhibitors. Lisinopril, enalapril, ramipril are common names. These are effective, widely trusted medications, but they carry a documented class-wide side effect that most patients are never warned about. They allow a substance called bradykinin to accumulate in the body. In 5 to 20% of users, that buildup causes persistent daily throat irritation and a relentless urge to clear the throat. Here is why it gets missed every time. The side effect can take weeks or months to develop after starting the medication. You start the pill in February. Your throat starts bothering you in May. By May, the medication feels like old news. You stop seeing it as a variable, so you look everywhere else, online, at your sinuses, at your coffee, except at the pill you have been swallowing every morning for 3 months. And the literature describes that delayed timing not as the exception, but as the standard pattern. A study of more than 27,000 patients found adults over 65 had a 53% higher chance of this specific throat side effect compared to younger users. 53% in your exact age group. If you are over 55 and on a blood pressure medication, this probability deserves to be checked. Do not stop your medication on your own. Call your pharmacist 60 seconds and ask whether your medication is an ACE inhibitor. If it is, ask your doctor about an alternative class called ARBs, angiotensin receptor blockers, that manages blood pressure equally well without the bradykinin buildup. And bring the timeline on paper. When symptoms began, when medications changed, the dates are more valuable than you think. Stop. One thing right now. Picture the medications and supplements sitting in your home. Do you know what drug class each one belongs to? Do you know their documented side effects? Or have you assumed that if something important were happening, someone would have told you? Most adults over 55 have never had a pharmacist review all their medications together for interactions and overlapping side effects. That is a gap. And it is the reason 2 of these 5 causes have been silently affecting millions of people for years without being identified. This week, call your pharmacy and ask for a full medication review. Write your symptoms down with dates before you call. Take Jim's approach, the handwritten timeline that nobody had thought to bring in 9 months of appointments. Type meds checked in the comments when you do. 2 causes left. Both you can start addressing before you go to bed tonight. Because number 4, your instinct is probably that you have already tried everything for this. Stay with me, because what most people treat for post-nasal drip is not what the research supports. The reason it hasn't worked is the approach, not the condition. When people hear post-nasal drip, they picture the dramatic version. Blocked nostrils, head pressure, can't breathe. That kind announces itself loudly. But in adults over 55, the far more common pattern is invisible. Breathing mostly normal, no obvious congestion. And yet the sinuses, mildly irritated at a constant low background level, produce just slightly more mucus than normal. That excess drains silently down the back of the throat all day, every day, never getting dramatic enough for you to point at your sinuses and identify it. A 2024 clinical study found the average age of patients presenting with this invisible drainage pattern is exactly 55. Your age group, not a coincidence. Here is why antihistamines haven't helped. They dry the mucus temporarily. They do nothing for the underlying sinus inflammation that is producing it in the first place. You are not turning off the tap. You are putting a paper towel under a slow drip and deciding the problem is handled. And dried, thickened mucus stuck at the back of your throat is often worse than the original problem. A 2025 review in the journal Medicina confirmed nasal saline irrigation is safe, effective, and low cost for exactly this pattern. It physically removes inflammatory mucus, reduces mucosal swelling, and supports the cilia clearance system we covered at the start of this video. The exact method is in the action plan, and the single word between it working and not working is consistency. Not 2 days, 14. Because number 5, I know exactly what just went through your mind. Drink more water, got it. Stay with me, because this is not about drinking more water. It is about the fact that your body has largely lost its ability to tell you when you actually need it. Research confirms the thirst mechanism becomes significantly less reliable as we age. In a younger adult, it fires early, well before dehydration begins. In adults over 55, that signal is blunted. You can be dehydrated enough to affect your mucus consistency and your mental clarity without feeling thirsty at all. Waiting for thirst means you are already behind, every single day. Think of maple syrup. Fresh from the bottle, it flows cleanly and easily. Left open on the counter overnight, it is thick, dragging, almost immovable. Your mucus behaves exactly that way based on your hydration state. And mild chronic dehydration thickens the mucus from silent reflux so it cannot clear, thickens sinus drainage so it adheres to your throat and amplifies every other cause we have discussed. These causes do not exist in isolation. They stack. 30 milliliters per kilogram of body weight per day, from all sources: water, herbal teas, soups, water-rich foods. Consistent intake spread across the day, not catching up when thirst arrives. By then, in an older adult, you are already behind. Before the action plan, 30 seconds on something that matters. Most persistent throat mucus is exactly what we have covered today, manageable and not dangerous. But please see your doctor promptly if you notice mucus consistently tinged with blood, even a small amount. Difficulty swallowing that is gradually worsening. Unexplained weight loss alongside throat symptoms, a lump or swelling in the neck, a significant voice change that is not improving. These go beyond today's conversation. Do not manage around them. Here is your action plan, starting tonight. Step 1. Stop eating 3 full hours before you lie down. Your valve has its hardest time staying closed when you recline on a full stomach. 3 hours upright is one of the most evidence-backed steps for reducing nighttime reflux. Costs nothing. Start tonight. Step 2. Elevate the head of your bed with a firm wedge under the mattress or risers under the bed legs at the head end. Not extra pillows, those only bend your neck. A physical incline, even a small one, lets gravity work for you all night. Step 3. Drink 1 full glass of warm water before sleep. Starts overnight hydration. Keeps mucus thinner. Morning will be noticeably less severe. Step 4. Tomorrow morning, before coffee and before breakfast, drink 1 to 2 glasses of warm water. This single habit change is one of the most commonly reported high-impact improvements. It rehydrates the body and loosens overnight mucus before it has a chance to set. Step 5. Get a nasal rinsing device this week. Neti pot or squeeze bottle, either works. Boiled and cooled water, not straight tap. A small pinch of salt, optionally a pinch of baking soda. Once daily, in the morning. 14 consecutive days before you evaluate whether it is working. Not 2 days, not 5. 14. Step 6. Call your pharmacist this week with your medication list and your written timeline. When did throat symptoms begin? When did medications last change? Ask directly whether any blood pressure medication is an ACE inhibitor and whether an ARB alternative is appropriate for your situation. Step 7. Add 1 fermented food daily this week. Plain yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut. Long-term gut microbiome support. Long-term real results. Step 8. Set hydration reminders every 2 to 3 hours and put water in every room you spend time in. Do not wait for thirst to prompt you. Build the intake schedule before your body asks for it. That persistent mucus has a reason. Up to 5. Silent reflux burning your throat every night with no heartburn to warn you. A gut microbiome sending inflammatory signals your airways are responding to. A blood pressure medication side effect that appeared months after the pill and never got connected. Invisible sinus drainage that was never dramatic enough to notice. and a blunted thirst mechanism keeping your mucus thick every single day. Not one of these requires you to accept a life of constant throat clearing. Every single one has a practical, evidence-grounded response. And not one first step I gave you requires a prescription or a specialist. If someone told you this is just what getting older feels like, I hope today gave you a different answer. You are not just aging. You are dealing with specific, identifiable, addressable biology, and you deserve to understand it. Subscribe and turn on notifications. I have a video coming soon on exactly how chronic gut inflammation connects to the most persistent complaints I hear from adults in this age group. You will not want to miss it. And before you go, share this with one person dealing with this same problem. That one share could genuinely change how they understand their own body. Take care of yourselves.